You're listening to Living Podcariously, bringing you real men's perspectives, unfiltered, unapologetic, and uncensored. Recorded live in the Living Podcariously studio in world-famous Cocoa Beach, Florida.
Welcome to Living Podcariously. It's been a while since we recorded, but we are back in studio.
We are back.
My name's Adam. I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Tach. I'm the other host.
And sitting across from Tach,
I'm Andrea Joy.
And we have one more special guest in studio this week. Maybe more than a special guest. We'll see how it goes for him, if he likes it or not. Is Mr. Jay Alvarez.
Oh, hey, Adam. Thanks for maybe more than a special guest. I feel like there's, I feel like there may be potential here.
You're more than a special guest.
Should I be getting jealous?
You should be. No. You absolutely should be.
How's your lasagna? How's your lasagna?
Look,
it has a silent G in it that I don't know where it came from. Otherwise, it's phenomenal.
Jay spent time in prison. When you ask a man how's his lasagna, he bends over and grabs his ankles. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Well, I guess it depends on whose lasagna you like better.
That's true.
I'm a fan of the Lazag.
You didn't get the memo, Tach, though.
What?
We're all to wear red shirts tonight. You didn't get the memo.
Oh, shit.
We're showing our support.
He's got red shoes.
Yeah, does that count?
We're showing our support for Gay Pride at Disney. So that's their red shirt days at Disney. So
okay.
I'm kidding now. No, it's just irony. That's all. Ironic. We all wore red. All right, so I want to get a couple quick shout outs out of the way to thank a couple people out there in the podcast land. Mr. John Sweeny with Podcast Radio Network. Tach, I know you know John.
Yep.
I don't think you know the magnitude, or you might know it, the magnitude of listens that he brings to our show. With his little Podcast Radio Network thing that he does, I mean, usually podcasters don't say their numbers, but I don't give a shit. I don't want to hide that kind of stuff. He brings us between 7,500 and 8,500 listens per month on each one of our 2 podcast shows that we've got.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
So I can't say thanks enough to that guy for syndicating us. So,
yeah, definitely.
John, thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. I also want to say thank you to everyone who clicked on and liked and shared, and a couple of people who specifically gave money to the GoFundMe that we talked about a few weeks back. That's for Marley, the little girl that had, what was her, it was retardation of the stomach is what she ended up having. You're looking around like
that sounds bad.
We don't like to use that word. We like to say challenged.
They prefer African American.
Jesus Christ. These are things. Hang on, man. That's going the wrong direction. But no, anyway, so we helped to raise her a little bit of money. Granted, it wasn't as much as I would have liked to have, but even a dollar helps, which is what was important there. And we ended up getting her quite a few of those dollars. So that's a good thing. One thing that Andrea offered for her stepfather was to have her come up to the salon where Andrea works and get her hair did. So
nice.
She has a lot of hair. She has Rapunzel hair too.
Oh, that's awesome.
And with all she's been going through, she hasn't had time to go to a salon and get it cut in over a year. So she's got those like beautiful curls and everything. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
I did it straight for her. She hadn't had it straightened in over a year, so I straightened it out, and then we spray painted the bottom some pink with some hair color.
You spray paint?
It's salon
spray paint.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's the salon
it lasts
stuff.
about a week.
What kind of salon is this? Huh?
It's a great salon. We do anything you want, and you always
it's right there on
happy.
the corner.
You always leave happy. They've got a spa in the back. You get a massage.
Oh, that kind of happy.
You always leave happy. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Everyone leaves with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
But we're going to put the pictures up of her getting her hair done up there at Bryn Allen. Just go to the Facebook page and check that out. That's
go ahead.
Facebook.com/Living Podcariously. What?
I do joke, but I mean, you did my daughter's hair, and she loved it, so I joke. But
Same spray hair stuff that I was talking about for her getting.
Gotcha. Very cool.
So, Jay, you guys both already know this. Andrea, I don't think you've ever seen Jay, but Jay is a stand-up comedian or comic, or I don't know what the official term is. I know you do stand-up all the time.
African American.
You're going to say that like 6 times during the show. Let's do
a purveyor of punchlines.
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
Are you still doing that? You still doing your stand-up?
Yeah, actually. Yeah, it's going pretty well. I just hosted over at Gregory's Comedy Club in Cocoa Beach.
Sweet.
And I'm actually doing a charity event this weekend for Miami Children's Hospital.
Really?
Down in Miami. Yeah, there's a great charity that they do called Radio Lollipop. And what it is they get a bunch of kids that are, checked into checked into the hospital for a pretty good amount of time. And they have a radio station that they run in the hospital, and they let the kids manage the radio station.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it's run totally off of donations. Miami Children's doesn't give any money into it just because they do so well off of the donations. And we're doing a charity event this Friday at Magic City Casino in Miami, Florida.
Cool. So if you're in the area, stop by and check it out. See Jay Alvarez.
Is that show driven for kids comic?
No.
Or it's an adult?
No, that is an adult show.
Okay.
It's in a casino. I don't think kids will be there.
Oh, that's a good point. Didn't put two and two together there. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's Miami, though. You wouldn't put it past anyone.
That is true.
When I was attempting my comedy
Debut.
like some of the listeners may not know, but Jay Alvarez was like my Yoda. So
yeah, speaking of which, Padawan, what happened to you? I never saw you again.
I got a new job and I work Saturday nights
And a
now.
girlfriend.
Oh.
It really sucks.
The girlfriend is probably the more catch there.
Yeah.
Well, what do you do Tuesday nights?
I work. I only have Sundays and Mondays off. So if you got some place I can go on one of those nights,
We'll chat.
all right, we'll chat. Cool.
Cool. I went to Ray Burrito's comedy thing that he hosted. I don't know, comedy night, whatever they're called, up here at Bug Nutty Brewery here in Merritt Island. And I sent you a message on Facebook to see if you were interested in going that night because I was going to be heading up there. It was a small crowd because it was a fucking monsoon outside. It was a horrible storm. However, he had it was like maybe 20, 25 people inside the brewery. So it was a decent crowd. Everyone was drinking because you go to a brewery to drink or to go support comics, and everybody who supports comics drinks. So it was all right. It was a pretty good. He got a pretty good response out of the crowd.
Good.
Andrea came up there after her rehearsal, and then we went out with Ray and a couple of his buddies and probably sat at Applebee's for another 3 hours just drinking with those guys.
I don't know, it was that long.
Trading war stories. It was interesting. So Ray, I don't know if you've ever heard his bit, but he's got a bit where he talks about getting mugged. He literally got him and 4 of his buddies got held up in his house down in Palm Bay, and 2 or 3 of the guys in the group, Ray wasn't one of them, these guys made them strip naked.
I heard this story. How did I hear this story?
I interviewed him. I pulled it out of him on the podcast when we did the interview with him. So he did it on his show. Ray has a podcast of his own. I listened to that, heard that.
I
when I had
listened
him
to
up
the
here, he did it.
episode that Jay was on.
Jay Alvarez?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Ray Burrito, but that's the only episode worth listening to if you want my honest opinion.
But these guys that were mugging them were literally holding them up. It was a African American young gentleman. They were both minors that were the robbers.
Right.
And then a Mexican or Latin or something was there with him as well. And they were holding them up and saying, yo man, shit yourself, to the naked guys, making them squat on the floor trying to shit. And you got to listen to it. So give Ray a plug and go listen to his podcast because it's a crazy story to hear a firsthand.
What's
tale
the name of his show?
Gallows Humor Podcast.
Good job.
right.
Good job. Good
Dude,
job.
that took you a
I
second.
knew the name of it. I was waiting to see if you're going to.
Ray Burrito's podcast. I don't know. He always does his shows too. So he'll usually do open mics down in Melbourne, next to FIT, I think. I'm not sure where it is. And then he'll do,
Yeah, that's where I did it.
That's where you went up?
Yeah.
At the
Okay.
pizza
That's
place.
that's old school pizza next to FIT.
Okay.
Yep.
And, he does his interviews afterwards either in the bar or in the parking lot. And he's got a couple episodes that I've listened to where they're in the parking lot. They're the only people in the parking lot. No other cars. Every business is shut down and it's 3 a.m. And some parts of FIT area are not the safest. So yeah, they packed up shop and recorded from the car on the way home before. It's quite funny.
I know he asked me to be on an episode too. I was going to go out and do comedy for the second time and then stay after and do the podcast with him. But I had to cancel last minute because of something with my kids. So.
Well, very cool. I know we talked about this a little bit pre-show, but Andrea is a performer as well. She doesn't do comedy. She is a musician.
Not funny.
What?
I'm not funny.
Andrea is...
You have your moments.
You definitely have your moments. Andrea is a singer, and she just performed and is still performing right now, anyone who's interested in musicals, in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat up at the Cocoa Village Playhouse. And I saw it twice already in the first weekend. and loved
And he
it.
sent me a huge bouquet of flowers on opening night.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
That's sweet.
The only other person to get
precious.
flowers that night was Joseph, was the lead. He got him. He got him from his boyfriend, but that's
that didn't come from you.
no,
Also,
no. That was
Are you
well,
sure?
maybe they did.
oh gosh.
Maybe they did.
Did you check the card? Was it from the same floors? Because that's a giveaway.
Oh, that's a good point.
My goodness.
That's a really, really good point.
So did you enjoy the show?
I had a blast up there, and I had a good test that I was able to do at the show because I brought the first night I went with her daughter. So it was me and her daughter going in. The very first show I saw Andrea, I was so focused on watching Andrea the entire time, I didn't really catch much of the play because I wanted to see her and her parts and focus on her and see how she did and listen for her voice distinctly. And I heard it, but there were many parts of the play I'm like, oh wait, what scene just happened? I completely lost the story train because of what I'm paying attention to Andrea. So, the next night, that I went, I took up our friends Josh and Margaret, as well as, Josh's sister and her husband. Now, her husband, Dan, is an interesting guy. I absolutely love Stephanie and Dan. They're wonderful people, but he is kind of like your man's man. He is not a musical fan. All right. If you gave him 10 things to do, going to a musical would be on the bottom. However, he wants to support a friend, so he decided to go to the musical with
Even
Stephanie
got all
and everybody.
dressed up and wore a button-up shirt. I was very proud.
that's
Yep.
nice.
Ooh.
He
was
looked good.
enamored with the show. He watched the whole thing start to finish and loved it. So that speaks a lot for the production quality of them. They're not sponsors or any of that bullshit, but it's Andrea's show, and it helps her if, she gets people to come up there and watch it as well. And it's good to have a lot of people in that crowd.
What's really funny is I've seen that show before. I can't remember if I told the story before, but a long time ago when Jimmy Klein was in that show, years ago, it's actually where he met his wife. And first time I'd never seen the show before. I'm watching it in the audience. And I think it's what's considered an operetta, I think is what it's called. But anyway, I didn't know that there's no talking. It's just one long song.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I didn't know that, so I'm sitting here watching and go, this is the longest fucking song I've ever heard. It's been going on for 22 minutes. What the hell? And then the person I was with, she was like, yeah, this is how the show is. I'm like, oh, I didn't know.
There was a little talking, a little bit, but very, very little. I think it was transitions between songs.
I guess after the Pharaoh pops out and he says, I understand the part about the corn, but can you give me the story about the cows one more time?
Nobody is going to understand that without seeing the show, but there's...
So if you want to know what that meant, come see the show.
Let me put it this way.
Ooh.
There is such a spoiler. Now, the story of Joseph is built in biblical times. However, it is not a preaching story. It is a really entertaining, really fast-paced show. It's only an hour and a half long, so it's like a movie. Some, musicals you go see are 2.5 hours, 3 hours long. This is just as short as a movie.
Fast.
And there's an intermission, and they serve beer and wine. So look, what more could you really ask for?
It has all the genres of music. You've got rock, you've got the country song, you've got the go-go song, you've got a calypso song.
Yeah, it does kind of hit everything. The guy who sang the Calypso song was pretty good. I was very impressed. Funny story though, about what happened in there. So, as good of a show as that is, before it started that second night that I took our other group of friends to see, Andrea got us balcony seats. So it was really cool. Their balcony is a giant balcony. That theater seats 800 people or something.
And he was
600 people. It's huge. It's way bigger than I thought it was going to be for Cocoa Village. Mm-hmm. So we're up on the second story in the balcony, and we get to our seats. So all 5 of us find our seats, and we get where we're in the middle. So there's people on outsides of both sides of us. Mm-hmm. Behind us is a little mid area where it's like a lane where people can walk through the lane to get from one side to the other. It's not like a real section of seats. Well, the seats are very steep because of the angles that you're looking at to look down on the stage. So to wrap that up, we all sit down, and then suddenly all of us want beer or wine. So Josh, my buddy, gets up to go get himself a beer, and then his girlfriend, his wife, Margaret, says, okay, I'm going to go get a wine as well. Margaret tries to do the same thing that Josh does, and Josh is a guy that's big time into parkour. Josh stepped over his seat to try to get, into the lane and successfully did that. Margaret, I absolutely love Margaret, but she's wearing a very short dress, right? Like mini dress.
I already like where this is going.
Yeah, dude, it's bad. It's not tight. It's a loose flowing, baby doll dress. I don't know the fucking style. It's a loose dress, all right?
Gotcha.
So instead of obviously lifting her leg all the way up over the chair, she puts her feet on the chair and then tries to go over. Well, if you know anything about theater seats, the seats collapse.
Yeah.
So I, as a gentleman, go to hold my hand out so she can stand up, and it's a good thing that I had my hand out. First, she puts her hand in my hand to hold onto it, just to, accept the gentleman's gesture. Suddenly that hand became real heavy. Margaret's not a heavy girl, but it became heavy. Well, the seat collapsed, and Margaret literally buckled back, and her ass hit the section of the seat that flipped up, and her feet went straight down, and then her legs went like this. Now, in this little dress, and there's an entire balcony of people behind her.
For those of you wondering what "like this" means,
good call. Yeah, good call.
Legs straight up in the air in a perfect V formation.
Good call. So the people behind us, the husbands that were back there, and there's some old guys too, like some really old people back there. They were all looking, and a few of them tried to step up to help, but by the time they made it to her, I'd already lifted her up. But she gave these people a better show than you could have asked for a pre-show before the show actually started.
Was she wearing underwear?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
You don't know.
Aww,
Okay.
Well, I couldn't. Such a gentleman.
No, I just couldn't see from that angle, Tach.
Yeah.
Why don't you just go with the good thing?
Oh, you'll show me the picture later.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I felt so bad.
Oh my God, are you okay? Click.
Margaret's not the type of girl that would get embarrassed too much. Of course, it's an embarrassing thing that happened, but she got her drink, came back, and said, fuck her.
Yeah, she's more embarrassed at the fall than anything else, probably.
Yeah. She was probably
Agreed.
grateful she didn't have the drink already when she fell.
Yeah, that's a good point. By the way, when she came back with her drink, she pardoned people and walked in front of them instead of jumping over the edge. Yeah. I felt so bad for her, but hey, it is what it is. All right, so we're going to take a quick break in studio. When we get back, we've got some more things to talk about, like Halloween that's almost around the corner. And, Tach, I know you don't care, but it's football season. So
it's what season?
Football.
Oh, Tach.
Football.
You're not ready for this?
Football.
If you don't stop playing that foosball, Bobby Boucher.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Thanks.
You with a flash, too fly to be a stab. Front of me, I'm like, bye. Boyfriend riding in the whip 'cause I drive stick.
Well, so for everyone out there, we want you to be involved in the show. So engage with us. Send us an email to show@livingpodcariously, or go to our Facebook page, right on our wall. Send us a message, private message, befriend Andrea, me, or Tach. Hit us up on there. Let us know what you want us to talk about. If you want to send Andrea a question for the Guyry, shoot her a message on Facebook and tell her it's for Living Podcariously's Guyry, and she'll ask your question. Yeah, that's it.
I didn't think it was so bad. Did you guys see that movie, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot with Tina Fey?
I know it, but I didn't see it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
She's like a reporter over in Iraq and all that, or Afghanistan. And that's how it was over there, too. Like, she's a woman coming to join the other group, and then there's another, which is Margot Robbie plays the other chick. And she's like, hey, I know we just met, just quick question. Can I fuck your security guys?
Yep.
You know? And she's like, oh, well, I didn't know if you were going to. And she's like, no, Tina Fey type stuff. No, yeah, go, please go. You're welcome. And she's like, okay, cool. She's like, I know I sound like a whore, but that's how it is out here. Trust me. So it was nice.
Get it when you can get it.
Overseas, it's such a difference in how the scale works. I know we talked about this a long time ago on the podcast, but the scale of attractiveness of women, like in the U.S., you say
Are we on the show right now?
No.
Okay.
I mean, maybe we should be with some of this content,
Yeah, I almost thought we were again. I was like, wait, we didn't start.
A woman in America that's a 1 is considered a really ugly person.
That's what they said in the movie.
A woman, and that's.
Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
That's spot on. But I saw this live in action before I saw the movie.
Yeah.
A woman that's a 10 in the U.S. is a perfect, what you consider your perfect specimen of a female. In Iraq, a 5 on your scale immediately gets moved to a 10. There is no 6 and above in Iraq. And if a 6 and above comes to Iraq or comes to Afghanistan or any of these parts of the world, she is a fucking queen, and some general somewhere is nailing that. That's just how that happens.
That was like in the movie where she's talking to Margot Robbie.
If you go to Iraq or Afghanistan, you'd be what is a redheaded version of a Nubian princess? Whatever the hell that would be, you would be that.
Beautiful.
You would be ultimately rare because of the red hair in the desert.
Special. I feel that special just here with you.
Oh.
So on that number system in the movie, like where Margot Robbie's explaining the whole number system to Tina Fey. You know who Margot Robbie is? She's like, yeah, she plays
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, Harley Quinn. So she's like, so what are you here, like a 15? And she's like, yeah.
The power those girls have, and that is not an exaggeration. The power a good-looking girl has that would be considered a U.S., 6, 7, 8, whatever, over there is unbelievable. You'll have, guys will bring gifts to the doors. They will completely turn into little puppies, following them around to everywhere they go. It is ridiculous.
So any girl who gets broken up, heartbroken, girl trip over there.
To become a contractor, go to the desert, work with 300 guys. In our camp, it was about, to be honest, it was probably about 50-1 guys to girls. So even the ugly girls had their choice of guys.
Yeah, no, dude, we had I was there for 14 months. And what's really crazy are the women that come after we've been there for a while. Like, they changed units and we happen to be deployed. So they'll come out and we won't even know them back home. Like, you're instantly a deployment 9. And that's what it is. You have your home number and your deployment number. So like, yeah, you're deployment 9. Yeah, you're a total 9. And that's all I know you as. You're a 9. And then we get home and then we're home for a week and I'm like, oh my God, I tapped that? She's like a 2. What the fuck was I thinking? Like, how low is my self-esteem that I touched that?
Yep.
And then you deploy again and 4 months later, you're like, oh, that's right. She's a deployment 9. And if you're like a 10 at home, you're not in the military.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, you can't.
It's some news reporter that got tasked along with. They got assigned to your unit.
That's exactly what that movie's about.
Yeah. Stacey Dash got attached to a unit. That's the only reason she's in this part of the world.
Stacey Dash, she's hot. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She doesn't have to. She's not. She's assigned by Fox. Like, you're hot. You don't need to work.
Yeah.
What are you doing this for a living? Why are you in the uniform?
Why don't we come back to the show?
Yeah, I keep forgetting we're not recording. I keep talking into the mic.
Oh no, we've been recording the whole time.
Recording.
Yeah. Anytime we come back to the room, I always keep the mic or the recorder going just in case something comes up that sounds good and we want to use it. I'll keep it in.
Sweet.
All right. Well, so on the military talk, welcome back to Living Podcariously. One of the things that I missed while I was overseas, anyway, was American football. Watching American football, and that season is back upon us. Jay, I know these two aren't really fans of football, American football. Are you a fan of football?
I love watching games, but I have fallen out of keeping track in the last couple of years.
Well, that's a fan. You're still a fan, though, right?
Oh, yeah, I'll still, any excuse to eat wings like an idiot and drink beer like one, too. Yeah, of course.
What do you have a team of preference?
So, I grew up in Miami, so I'm a Dolphins fan.
You fit right in here then.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yay, Dolphins.
So you guys understand it is a hard life.
Yeah, it's a very hard life, yes.
Luckily, I was born in Connecticut, so I can, low-key go for the Patriots.
All right. We need to talk about you being in the show.
Look, it's only during playoffs, because let's be honest, we gotta know Dolphins aren't making the playoffs. I want to keep track of the season afterwards.
I'll be honest, I love the Dolphins, but they should be 0-3 right now. They should not have won the Cleveland game, but hey, just saying. So we're not a sports podcast show, so we're not going to talk a lot about sports. However, we did host here in the house 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago at this point. I don't remember exactly when it was. Fantasy Football League. And I haven't played fantasy football in, I don't know, at this point, probably 2 years or 2 seasons of football. So I wanted to get back into it. I rounded up a bunch of guys, got them over here, and we did our live draft. And I'm stellar. I'm like, dude, my team is the shit. I've got these Mac Daddy players. I've won. So here, get this. I won the last season that I finished playing. I played 3 leagues, 3 money leagues. I took first place in 2 leagues, and then I took third in the other one. So the biggest money one, I got my money back. In the other 2 leagues, I won out. I won both leagues. In this league that I hosted and I put together, I'm fucking last. Dead last. I haven't won a game yet.
There goes my engagement ring money.
Yeah, I told her, I said that me proposing to her all has to do with whether or not I win fantasy football.
Whether the football gods smile on this union.
That's right.
So if I knock off all the other guys, then you'll win?
If you let the guys knock you up. What did you say?
No.
If I marry you with their kid, do I have to pay child support? I don't know how that works.
No.
Okay.
If I get rid of them, if they disappear, does that mean you win?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
If you're the only one left?
I guess so. I guess that works by default. I already have their money, so, if somebody else wins except me, we'll just, vanish. Nobody around. So we had a mutual friend, Tach, that was part of this group. He actually helped.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he actually helped me put it together. And I gotta bust his balls a little bit. So a fantasy football draft party, for those people who don't know anything about it, you select a bunch of players to be on your team for the year. All right. And on your team means just in your fantasy game. So how well they perform affects how many points you get. That's all that it is.
And you have like the 12-sided die. I gotcha.
It's exactly right. It's like, Dungeons and Dragons for jocks. Yes. That's the joke. Well,
get lost in the upside down and everything.
Yeah.
We're putting Andrea to sleep. The one guy that wanted to do this draft with me loved how we used to do drafts back in the day, making it a party. You show up, everybody gets drunk, or at least those that drink are going to drink and have a good time, and then stay around afterwards, grill, hop in the pool, drink, and throw the football, and just make it a party, an actual party. So he was pimping this super hard. He's like, all right, we're going to do it like we did in the old day, throw a real party. So we did it. We at the end of the draft was over. We turned on the music. We started shooting pool. We were just hanging out and chilling and, doing whatever. A couple people kind of trickled away, shortly after the draft. And, our mutual buddy decided it was the night he had to take his significant other out on a date. So the one guy that pushed it harder than anybody else said, you know what? I gotta bail.
Hey, let me invite all this debauchery into your house.
Yeah.
And then I gotta go.
Yeah.
And I've spent all that time making all that food, even a football cheese ball.
She did. She made a giant cheese ball. Looks like a football.
That sounds awesome.
And she does cheese balls the right kind of way. Peppers in them and all sorts of good stuff.
Secret family recipe.
It's Famunda cheese.
Ew.
So Tach, I sent you, actually Tach and Jay, Andrea and I sent you guys invites on Facebook to our Halloween party.
Yes.
That we're going to be throwing.
And I have to talk to work. I don't know if I can get it off. My girlfriend, Holly, she really wants to go, as you know.
There's plenty of
her
time.
name.
Jay's looking to see if I sent it. Shit, I hope I actually sent it to him.
No, you did. I'm looking at my calendar to see what the date was.
It's October 29th for all you listeners.
Yeah, our address is...
if anybody wants to show up randomly.
555 West Street.
We never turn down of a good time. Show up with whips and leather.
There will be a costume contest though, so you should show up.
Oh.
We're doing an adult-only Halloween
I
party.
don't know if I can reuse an old costume that I won the last party I went to. I won that shit that night.
We didn't see it
I
either.
didn't see it. You could win a goat. We put some prize out there. Everyone seems really involved in this goat.
Where are we? Baghdad? Like, what are we? Is this like a dowry or something?
We have a friend who has a goat farm, and so I'm thinking about really sending someone home with a goat.
I put a post up there that said, hey, by the way, guys, because it's a Facebook page we did for the invite for the event. Yeah. I said, hey, we're going to have a costume contest for best girl and best guy dressed in a costume. I said it could be a cash prize. It could be a goat. It could be a gift certificate. It could be a banana. Everybody's like, oh, I want the fucking goat. I'm like, what?
I don't want the goat.
That was a joke. I'm not really going to have a goat, but I guess I got to get a goat now to give somebody.
eBay has like this 19-inch plush goat. It looks like a real goat. Something about really getting that.
They just opened for a Rams head because everyone wants to recreate that party from Dragnet at the end of the movie.
I think the goat will be our booby prize for just the one that we just...
That's a good
They're
point.
Great. Most creative.
Yeah, honorable mention.
I listened to another podcast that told a story about Halloween parties or costume themed parties, and the crowd decides who wins. And the prize that he was hosting for was a big prize. It was like a $500 door prize for the best costume. And for that much money, people put a lot of work into a costume. And they've got these. He was telling the story. It's actually from Tom and Dan. That's the podcast that I heard it from. This is a year ago or so. Mm-hmm. And he said he was hosting the party, and he was the one that was making the announcements. All right, let's hear it for Avatar Girl. And she looked like a real fucking avatar. I mean, she put a ton of time into this. And then all the people that were in costume were there. And then the next guy was like fucking Batman. And then there's, all these elaborate costumes. And then the guy that was, the biggest dork of them all, but the most popular, came up in a mask. He was Sloth from the Goonies, and he had a Goonies shirt and a mask. That's all he had. And he gets up there and he holds up a beer, and of course the fucking crowd that loves him goes nuts. So this asshole that has a mask on, that, just a little rubber mask, wins.
Sucks.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of a story.
Uh-oh.
I have a story. Story time, everybody. Gather around. I was in, elementary school, 4th, 5th grade, whatever. And it was coming up on Thanksgiving. And so the entire school was trying to have a turkey gobbling contest, like sound effect, where you would do it.
Oh, okay.
And so,
Hey kids, let's hear your gag reflex.
Is this a Catholic school?
no. And so,
Oh, father.
it started with like each class like did a competition, then the winner of that class then competed with, until it got down to like the top 4 of the entire school, and they had to do it in front of the entire school. And so, I'm up there, so we're calling the teachers calling like 2 people up at a time to compete. Okay, and so I was working on my sound effect. I was like, hell yeah, dude! Like I wanted to win this.
Before I had to make sure we were recording because whatever Tach is about to do in the microphone, I want to make sure I get. Continue. I'm sorry. I apologize.
You guys want to hear it?
Yeah.
So, I was a kid. I wanted to win this contest, and I don't know why. It's ridiculous, but so I get called up with this other girl, and so I do my little sound effect, and
We're ready for it.
Do it.
okay, it was just a right, and then so everybody's like, okay, and then of course it won by applause, and then the girl goes up, she goes gobble gobble, and that bitch fucking won.
Stacy wins everything.
Right, fucking Stacy.
But you know what? Stacy's mom's pretty hot.
She's got it going on.
There you go. You know what I'm doing over here. So you didn't win, and that bitch just
I didn't
said
even
gobble.
win the class. Yeah, she was popular.
I
or
can do a
whatever,
really good
stupid.
chicken.
What?
That's
Jay, what can you do?
I actually do a really good turkey.
Oh,
when I was
gobble gobble.
when I was a kid, my mom raised me around a lot of questionable adults.
Yeah.
And one guy, Rusty, really liked to go turkey hunting, so he taught me how to do a turkey call.
Do it.
So he wouldn't have to put his beard down and use the box.
I feel this is a great episode for sound drops.
Let's hear it.
So you got the gobble, which is
Wow! Holy shit! What the fuck is going on?
You would have fucking won that shit
No,
unless
but-
you were against Stacy.
But then you got the regular call, which is just
Oh, there's more.
and that's what you do to get their heads up so you can get a clean shot. Now, I shouldn't know this as a Latino gentleman from the inner city of Miami. But because of my very jaded upbringing,
I'm fucking sweating over here.
yeah.
Wow.
Look, I'm not proud of all my talents. But this one I am.
That's a
Why you gotta
that's-
upstage me, Jay? Way to go.
Because what you don't know is that when I was born, my name was Stacy.
Oh, God, I fucking knew
Came
it.
back to haunt you, motherfucker.
That's right.
I still have the best chicken.
Your chicken was cute, yes.
I'm a spring chick.
Adam, you have to do
No,
one.
yeah, see, I don't.
Let's hear your best animal sound.
I'm an elephant.
This turned into a fetish podcast real fast, by the
All
way.
right, do your elephant.
There you go. I'm just saying.
By the way, none of us are wearing clothes anymore, folks. So go ahead and get that visual in.
Good thing we aren't
I don't know why
live
he
stream.
lifted his cock up when he did that too, which was weird.
I didn't know I could make that sound. That
It was
amazing.
unnecessary, but
That explains the underwear he's wearing.
I knew his cock had many talents, an elephant noise. That was a new one.
Well, that's because you're not trying hard enough behind closed doors.
Apparently.
All right, so to go on the Halloween party theme a little bit longer, I put a post out on Facebook and had some of our listeners send Andrea and I, and she hasn't seen these yet, send Andrea and I some ideas for costumes for us to wear. So we're not going to be in the contest because we're the judges of the contest, sort of, the
Not
host of the party.
fair. I want to win the goat.
right.
But I want to do something that's good. I want to be, we can buy 2 goats. We'll just buy 2 goats.
I like to win.
Oh,
Where are you buying the first one?
A goat farm.
Goat Farmers at Palm Bay Inc. Come on.
Just look up goat farm. I'm sure.
It would
Google.
be. It would be.
Don't do that on my Wi-Fi if you don't mind. All right. So listeners sent in some ideas for Andrea and I for costumes. So
Goats.
we'll go through these. First one, Al and Peg Bundy.
Oh, I had
All
that
right.
idea too.
Oh, that's
That one
fucking
came in
glorious.
I could totally be.
Andrea's, she's perfect. She's got the red hair. I'm lazy, so that's good. The next one is a zoo worker and Harambe with a wound.
That'd be
Ideal.
Cecil
Little
Lion.
insensitive.
You have to go with your dick out though for Harambe.
Yeah.
Another person sent in, BLM rioters holding a TV.
Cricket.
Black Lives Matter. right?
No, we all know what BLM
Okay.
means. It just doesn't make it any less racist.
Another person said female politician with a secret serviceman holding an EpiPen.
Topical.
No? No?
Where's the prince and princess?
One of them is just, I guess this one's just for me because it's just a single person, but Caitlyn Jenner in a dress with a boner.
Am I the boner?
Yes. And then the last one was Ray Rice dragging a lifeless body. So I would be Ray Rice. She would be the lifeless body. Yeah. Ray Rice is a NFL player and he knocked his wife out in the elevator and then drug her body a little bit. Yeah. She wasn't dead. She was just unconscious.
Oh.
He didn't kill her.
That makes it better. Well,
Yeah,
that's
that makes it better. So those are our listeners sending
He is
us.
the gentleman.
Yeah.
I don't always drag bitches, but when I do, they're
I marry
alive.
They're alive. So those are our ideas from our listeners. So thank you guys. Maybe we'll do one of those.
No.
No. I wanted to do the drunk guy with an Irishman that he was being piggyback carried. Have you seen
Oh,
that
I've
yet?
seen that. Yeah,
That's fucking
I saw that,
hilarious.
yeah. That was pretty fun.
I absolutely
But you
love
have
that.
a couple. You have to be a couple.
Well, then you can just carry me. I mean, you can be the
I have to
little...
be something in go-go boots because I bought go-go boots for the show. So I'm wearing those.
Whatever
go-go boots
couple
again.
theme works with Cocoa Boots.
Oh God, you're gonna.
You could be the crappy
Austin
DJ.
Powers.
No, I told her I don't want to be Austin Power.
I wanted to be the worm from Labyrinth with go-go boots.
Just
Come
go,
inside and have a cup of tea with
Hello.
the missus.
Oddly specific.
Yes, isn't it?
But I would be his wife because I'd have the go-go boots on. You never got to meet her, so you don't even know if she wears go-go boots.
Oh, you're just making it up. Oh, I see
figure
what you're
his
doing.
wife is this hip lady. She's gonna be awesome.
fan fiction. Here
Yes.
Every year for Halloween, I just put on regular clothes. And people are like, you're not even trying. I'm like, I'm a serial killer.
we go. Yeah.
But you look so normal. Exactly.
There was a movie that referenced, it was a little girl that referenced that.
Adam's Family.
Is that what it is?
Is it
Yeah,
really?
Adam's Family. I
think so.
She said, what are you going for as Halloween? She's like, homicidal maniac. They look like the rest of us. It was pretty
Oh,
funny.
crap. I didn't even know. Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
They look like
Sounding
everybody
better.
else.
Or something like that,
They look
yeah.
just like everybody else.
Oh, that's funny. All right. So let's move on. Jay, we talked about this once before on the podcast. Have you ever seen the Netflix series Stranger Things?
Yeah.
You like it?
I finished it in like 2 days at
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, a lot. Just about everybody that I know has watched it has binged it. They've watched it from start to finish, or maybe overnight and then watched it the next morning.
That's what I did. Yeah.
Is that what you did too? You finally finished it? Because I think you only watched 2 episodes and you stopped.
I
last
watched
time we talked.
one and then I stopped for a while and then I finished it like a couple weeks ago.
Good. All right. There's no spoilers in what I'm about to give away, so it's not anything like that. Well, I guess it's a little bit of a spoiler, but not too bad.
If you haven't seen it by now, it's on you.
Yeah.
It's been
exactly.
so long since I've seen it. I think I can watch it again now.
Well,
Because it was like the day it came out, we watched all of them right then. So, and it's been months now.
we just got Josh and Margaret to watch it this weekend. They only watched 1 through 6. They haven't watched the last 2, and the last 2 wrap it all up.
Yeah.
So they're going to go home and watch that.
Nice.
So one obsessed fan hit the internet and went through and watched all of the shows again, a second time or maybe 5th time, who knows. And he broke something down. So the lead character that's the female in there, her name in the show is 11. And she, if you remember the show, is very, she doesn't talk a lot. All right. But she does, as the shows progress, she starts to have more dialogue and more conversations. She's got some abilities. This guy, and what I'm going to look for you guys is a number. This guy went through every episode and recorded every word she said and counted and to see how many words she said throughout the entire series.
Yeah.
The entire series. So let's see if you guys can guess whoever's the closest wins to a goat. I don't know, but how many words do you think she spoke throughout all 8 shows?
Well, I
It's
think
only
it would
8.
be funny if it was 11.
All
but,
these goats.
But I'm pretty sure she spoke more than 11 words.
She did. She spoke more than 11.
38.
You're going to go with 38?
Or do we
Wait.
have multiple choice?
No, it's just,
Wait, is it how many words she spoke? Like,
this is Price of Right rules.
Oh.
so is this like how many
$1.
different words she spoke,
Yeah,
or
how-
just
total-
how many
no, how
out-
many-
like
the
how many
total-
lines she had?
Yeah, exactly. Based on lines. So the word the in another episode could be kind of, again, is
Okay.
2 words.
I was going to say
Oh,
33.
I wasn't.
You're going to 33. You're going 38?
Yeah.
All right. Jay, Price of Rice rules.
Let me go
Price of
66.
Price of Rice.
No, you're
price
just
of rice.
giving him the
Price of
answer.
right.
You're going to tell him.
Let me
to
go
put $1.
66.
66.
Drew. 66.
All right. The correct answer is 246 words. So you guys were all fucking off. So Jay Alvarez, come on down.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
All these goats.
I said 138. That's what I said.
oh, is that what you said?
Yeah.
We've got audio. We'll check it.
Okay. I
Go to the
win.
judges.
Yeah, that's I just thought that was an interesting nugget of.
I
I thought we were going to get more questions.
Well, there's a fan theory. I didn't read into it too much, but there's a fan theory about the show just being about 11 getting her period.
Oh my God.
I swear to God, I'm not making that up. I swear, if I could make that up, I wouldn't be here right now.
So the big scary monster that destroys everyone is her period.
It's PMS.
Oh, that's funny. Oh,
That's the upside down.
misogyny rules. That's the upside down.
That's the upside down.
Oh.
Wow.
You ever had sex with a girl on her period? I'm just saying, it is pretty scary.
Period ain't stopping nothing but a sentence, baby girl.
Creepy with talking about an 11-year-old. I regret saying that now. Andrea found a really cool story out of San Jose, and I don't know if it's San Jose, California, San Jose, Texas, San Jose, Bolivia. I'm pretty sure it's
California.
Is it California? Okay.
San Jose, Idaho, too.
This woman's name is Selena
Not really. That was a joke.
Avalos.
Anything for
Avelos.
Selena.
She placed an order for Domino's Pizza and got her delivery, and she ordered a pizza and some breadsticks. And instead of her breadsticks, she looked in the box, and there was $5,000 in cash in her box. So what evidently happened is they were going to also run to the bank, and the way that they conceal their money in a pizza delivery vehicle is in a breadstick box.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they tell the
In the
DEA
back.
agent that showed up. Yeah.
So she called the owner of the pizza establishment, and
She actually couldn't get a hold of the owner.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It took 3 days to get a hold of someone. She ended up calling someone
It's a
who got
fucking
in charge
pizza
of the
place.
franchise people. And yeah, she could walk to it. They
Or you could just call. That's what their job.
They got a pizza box full of IOUs
So
back.
she got in touch with the franchise owner, and that's how she returned.
she
the
called and
money.
asked for a manager, and they would never return her call. She said, have the manager call me. You're not going to just tell the first guy that picks up the pizza delivery place, hey, I got $5,000 of yours here.
Right.
You're going to want to speak to the manager.
But they did give her a reward.
Oh, yeah? What was
Free pizza for a year.
Ah,
it? Ooh.
yeah, because I ordered $5,000 worth of Domino's in here.
If
She
you
also got a week off pay from her employer because she's being honest.
being
Which she
ethical.
was owed anyway.
Yeah. So $5,000 though, that's a ton of money. That's definitely not worth. If you had one pizza a week for a year, you would be what, $200-300? It wouldn't be near that much.
Does she only get one pizza?
I don't know the rules.
Well, you know what? The reason it took the manager so long to get back to her is because they had all been killed by the drug lord who they owed $5,000 to. What do you mean you lost my money?
That's a very valid point.
Our manager's a little busy right now.
He's occupied. It wasn't even a pizza guy that answered the phone. It was the lookout. It was like, yeah, he's predisposed.
Well, can you have him call me?
Yeah, we'll have him call you back.
Would you turn it back in, Tach? I don't think I would.
I was sitting here thinking about that, and I want to say yeah. I think I would, because I'm the kind of person.
I'd make that first phone call. I wouldn't call.
Yeah.
Like, look, they obviously don't want it that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. What about you?
Because they
Andrew?
would have figured it out. They'd be like, well, maybe we left it at that one house. They didn't
Nope,
figure that out.
Nope, had breadsticks. Thank you. They were delicious. Prove to me that I'm lying.
Did you enjoy your meal?
I
This is Domino's calling. Did you enjoy your meal?
We're calling as a courtesy.
You know what? I'm calling that Domino's every week and ordering breadsticks.
Right?
Always.
Did you get breadsticks?
Or holding up
Did you enjoy them?
every delivery guy for the next month. Let me see your breadstick box.
Yeah, right.
All right. So, we're going to take a quick break in studio, and when we come back, we're going to do Andrea's Guyry segment. Huh?
That was work stuff.
Oh, what, for the text?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
What?
It's all
What happened?
What's happening, Mommy and Daddy?
Spanking.
good cookie.
Are you going to punish me now?
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back in studio.
He's gonna go spank her.
Yes. All right, thanks. Peering into the inner thoughts and expressions of men. Women submit questions for Adam and Tach to get brutal, honest admissions. We call this the Guyry. Guyry? Really? Is that the best we could come up with?
All right, guys. Here is question number 1.
Question
This is
1.
from Kelly in Florida.
Wrong show.
Why do you consider a woman a tease if she doesn't sleep with you after 3 dates, but a slut if she sleeps with you on a first date?
I think we've answered a question real similar to that one before in the past.
So
So why is she a tease if she doesn't sleep with me on the 3rd date? Mm-hmm. I think it depends on what level of progression of physical connection you've already had with her up to that point. Because if I'm going out with a girl and it's 3rd date and we've already done pretty much everything else except sleep together, then I'd consider it a tease. If we haven't and she's taken it slow and slow rolled me this whole time, I wouldn't think she's a tease. I just think she's a, I don't know, maybe more conservative than open about things like that. I wouldn't
So the
necessarily
girl on
think
the
she's a
first
tease.
date's a slut?
Unfortunately, well, personality really attributes a lot to being a slut, but
Yeah.
if a dude like me can score with a chick on the first date, that means that lots of other dudes have scored with this girl on the first date. All right.
didn't you?
But that probably also means lots of girls have scored with you on a first date.
No, it wasn't until the 3rd.
Slut.
I've had a few girls chew their arm off after waking up with me in the morning. I'm just saying.
I was right on the 3rd.
I agree with what he said on that one. So
Yeah, I actually don't think you are. I think if you sleep with someone on a first date, then and there was chemistry. Now, if you're a slut, doesn't mean you slept with someone on a first date. Adam hit it on the head. There's a lot of personality things that has to do with being a slut.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I pick you up from the day and the first thing you're like, oh, I can't wait to get a cock in my mouth. Okay, that's not how you want to open this.
well,
right?
that's not all. I've said that. You know,
What
you've
was your
said
name
that sometimes.
But you'll still take her home.
I mean, I'm not going to say no.
It would hurt her feelings.
No, of course. I'm a gentleman. My mother raised me right. No, but if it's a first date and there's obvious chemistry and you're both feeling it and you sleep together, no, I don't think you're not. I think she's dating the wrong kind of guys. Like,
As long as she says, this is the first time I've ever done this, then I'm good, right?
don't even lie to me. No, don't lie to me. This is the first time any of us have. We're both adults. We can both make a decision. And if you haven't slept with me by the 3rd date, you're not a tease either. I don't base opinions off of that, ladies. For those listening,
Is this like
very
a first
understanding
date
kind of guy.
conversation? Is this what you have like during the first date?
You'd be surprised where my first date conversations go. Actually,
Is you trying to convince them? So no, I won't think you're a slut.
I think
she'll be like, I didn't ask any of that, but okay.
She's like, well, I heard on this one podcast that you said this.
I think the best first date conversation I ever had. The woman and I were competing over who was better at going down.
Well, I'll show you.
That's some top level game right
It
there.
never.
That's-
It didn't happen that night, but the conversation was really heated. There was a lot of crap talking going back. And when it finally did happen, she was disappointed. I was pleasantly surprised. She had been underselling herself the entire time.
Nice.
I had just been trying to keep up.
All right, this next one's from Gina in Florida. Do you ever cry?
That's it. Period.
That's it? No, question mark.
Only during periods?
Oh, I know.
Question mark. Nice.
Do you ever That's a weird question.
Don't judge.
All the time.
Have you ever cried in your life? Is that your question?
I'm assuming she's meaning as an adult. So.
Yeah, I'm assuming she means
gotcha,
regularly. Like,
Because
do you
girls
cry?
cry all the time.
Yeah.
Like, all the time.
I've cried. I've cried several times, but mostly it's been around something incredibly traumatic or emotional. The birth of my son, absolutely. There was no controlling that, or the loss of someone. So if you lose somebody that's close to you, then yeah, that's gonna pull it out of me regardless. But I've never cried over like an emotional connection in a relationship that I've lost, or things like that. That kind of stuff usually won't get me to cry. But if it's family, or if it's a death of a friend or somebody that's close to you or something like that, then yeah, I've cried for those types of things.
Well, that should make you feel better, Andrea. Now you know he won't cry when you break up with him.
Not at all. I think I've seen him cry.
You've seen me cry?
Mm-hmm.
Shit, man, I
We
cry
don't
in
talk
movies.
about when that happened.
I'm an emotional wreck, man. I was no, really. So I'm semi sober for the last couple of years. And when I got sober and I started like really going into emotions and realizing I had never let myself experience an emotion, now whenever I see something even mildly sentimental, it's like
a Hallmark commercial.
Dude, I saw this guy on a dinner date with his daughter. And it was like watching Mufasa die all over again. Just just openly sobbing in a McDonald's. You know what I mean? So instead of looking like a wreck, I just looked homeless.
Yeah, or those videos of like the soldiers coming back or some shit.
Oh yeah.
All right.
That's fucked up.
All right. I think that must be what you're talking about. I think I probably teared up to a couple of those.
You know what's kind of funny is like a lot of people do cry at like these, like somebody dies in a movie, so they cry or whatever, something like that.
I cried in Toy Story 3, man.
I did too at the end.
Because if you don't, you're a monster.
I've never seen that.
God,
I've heard people say that before. I've never seen that movie. I've seen the first two, but I've never seen the third one.
Toy Story 3 will take you for a roller coaster, my friend.
They all die at the end?
No.
Oh.
It's not a sad cry necessarily. I mean, you're sad, but it's okay. And you keep telling yourself that while you're crying. It's okay. But you're still crying, but it's okay.
But, my point I'm
about to cry thinking about it.
like I've gotten choked up, if you will, during some movies and stuff like that. But here's the fucked up part. I only do that at the happy moments. That's fucked up.
Oh, no.
Tears of joy.
You know what show killed me was Parenthood. Have you guys ever seen that one?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
TV show? No.
Dude, Parenthood. Oh, man. Starring, what's it? Craig T. Nelson? He plays the grandfather in the show. Man, the first season of that show, every episode, like just openly.
I haven't seen that.
I started watching it at my sister's house in Tampa, and every time she walked by me in the living room, I was just sobbing.
Oh.
And finally, like the fourth time, I was just like, "What the fuck are you watching?" And I showed it to her. She's like, "Oh my god, every time." And then she went into her room, she brought out a box of tissues, and my sister and I sat there watching the rest of the first season together. And I was like, don't tell anybody about this. It says as I announce it in a podcast.
This is a family secret that is now exposed to the world.
Yeah. Thanks for keeping my secret, Steph. I appreciate it. You're off the hook now.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, let's see. The next one. Megan in North Carolina wants to know, why don't guys wash their hands after they pee?
Is she from Charlotte?
Maybe.
Because they got some shit going down right now, if you know what I mean. No, I'm just kidding.
Because it takes my hand away from the pistol grip.
I do. I don't know about
I do every
you
time.
guys.
Yeah, you dating savages,
All right,
woman.
you're going to hear some absolute honesty coming out of me. I will wash my hand after peeing if I think I haven't been cleanly. If I think there might be a little bit of funk or something going on, or if I get pee on it, then I'll wash it.
Dude, you handed me a cup, man.
Yeah.
Sure did. How do you like them
I thought
apples?
it tasted like cock.
Tach, you would know, huh?
I noticed this water
I
tasted a
dated a
little
guy
salty.
who said that he didn't need to wash his hands because he didn't even touch it when he peed.
Yeah, some people don't have to. Was he hung like a horse? Because then it just automatically goes right down towards
No. It doesn't. You don't have to be hung to do that. Trust me.
Nice. What if you sit down to pee? Guys don't need to touch the dick then?
Yeah, you do. You gotta tuck it.
Yeah, I would have to tuck it to sit down. So then you have to wash your hands.
You can do the swing effect and get that thing into the bowl
Once
before
again, not this guy.
Tach sits down to pee and it shoots straight forward.
That's nice. That means he keeps it off the side of the toilet and the floor and everything's very
I guess
nice
there's a
of him.
bonus thing for
Tach,
you.
so that might get real
A
personal for a
prince.
second.
That's how a prince pees.
Are you nice? Are you groomed downstairs, Tach? Is it?
Yeah, I got nothing.
Are you groomed?
I'm like
what about you, Jay?
top
Are
of
you
Jay's head.
70s bush? Are you groomed? Or
I'm manscaped, yes.
manscaped?
Yeah.
What are you curious?
That goes great with the next question from Ashton in Florida. What is your take on female body hair?
None, except for on top of your head and your eyes, like your eyebrows and eyelashes, and that's it.
That's it?
That's very specific.
Yeah, I don't want it neck down, no, chin down, no, mustache, no, eyes down, no hair, with the exception of what goes past
And what
you in your
happens
head.
if hair is there?
Well, it's a preference thing. If it's there, I mean,
He gets mad. They're throwing razors at her.
How far along are you before he finds out that there's hair?
when you're going down on her and you hear this, that's not a good sign.
That's your beard.
Yeah.
Right, that's what it would.
I know, I'm just joking.
Too much static electricity with guys with beards going down on girls with bush. It's just too much friction there.
I like it like nothing, and if there's a little something on the top, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't
Sometimes
mind.
that's sexy.
I don't mind a nice little coif. You know, if it's nicely trimmed in there, that's fine. As long as you maintain it.
Yeah.
Armpit
Nothing.
hair?
No, armpit hair is a
No,
no-go. Yeah,
that's
you are a no-go at this
Yeah,
station.
what's-
Leg
what?
hair?
No,
What?
prefer it not to be
Okay,
there.
like leg hair, like she just doesn't shave, or leg hair, like she hasn't shaved in like a few
In
days.
like 2 days.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
that's
fine with
okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, little
Yeah.
prickles are fine, but
As long as you can't see it when she's walking by you.
Yeah. If it casts a shadow, there's a problem. All right. I think that pretty much goes for every other body part.
If I'm running my fingers through her hair and my arms are down by my side, there's a
But
problem.
I think when you're on your period, that's your free break from shaving.
Oh, yeah. I can,
Done. Agreed.
Just break. Take a break. Let it grow. All right. This next one is from Lucy in Florida. Why don't guys spend more time kissing?
Each other?
That's how I heard it.
It's a pretty open to interpretation.
Listen, we are.
Sometimes we have been meaning to talk to you about that.
You and I need to spend more time kissing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
think
facial
we'd be
hair gets in the
better
way a lot.
You hear this?
So scratch.
You know that static electricity thing Adam was just talking about?
We start zapping each other when we make out. It's bad.
I'm sure Lucy wants to know why don't guys spend more time kissing like when you're making out
Right, that's what we were just talking about. And he gets static
with girls, with a significant other.
Oh.
You know, I'm a big proponent of something that should be, and I even fail at this at times myself, something that should be in a relationship, no matter if it's fresh or if it is a 20-year marriage, is you need to make time to actually, not as foreplay, but just have a good session of making out with your woman. Because there's so much emotion that's pushed through a kiss that it just does wonders for the relationship. I'm a victim of this too. I haven't done it enough as I'm sure you would like me to. So I need to step that game up a little bit. But I absolutely think guys should be kissing each other a lot.
When I got back from my honeymoon, the day after my honeymoon, we went to marriage counseling when I was married before.
The day after?
Yeah, the next day.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
She said that you need
shitty
to
night.
French kiss your partner at least once a day. Like have a passionate kiss once a day.
I'll agree with
That
that.
idea made me want to vomit. But
I'm actually a huge kisser. I enjoy kissing, like very much so. So my
right.
ex-wife wasn't a fan of how much I enjoyed
of not
it.
kissing?
Like she
didn't wanna
liked
kiss?
kissing, but she didn't like that I always wanted to kiss. She was like, "This is too much." I was like, "Whoa,
That's odd.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard a girl turn away. I mean,
Right.
unless she doesn't know you. I haven't heard a girl turn away a kiss.
And even then,
well, that's
it's
because
like,
they can't speak under the chloroform, Adam."
Oh, that's true. That's true. Here, does this smell like chloroform? Yes.
But I've been in the past, I've been accused of not doing it too and falling away from it and all that. But now, like my girl now, like I enjoy making out with her, so there's no
That's
issue.
You guys
because
are
don't see each
still-
other every 2 weeks.
You're still in the honeymoon phase. So Tach recently, and I say recently,
So
it's
are
been
we.
about, what, 2 months now?
Since July.
Listen to Tach. He's like, 3 months, 14 days,
No.
7 hours. No.
She's
Tach-
listening. She's quizzing.
She's
She's a
definitely
listener.
listening.
She's
Tach recently met he engaged in a friendship. He engaged in a relationship with a friend that he's had for a long time, and they hit it off like gangbusters. She's an awesome chick. I would like to meet her one day soon.
Yeah, yeah,
Tach.
definitely.
Probably the Halloween party.
Yes,
She
she
could
does
be a
want to
go-go
come.
dancing worm with me if she doesn't.
She doesn't hang out with Matt Teo's girlfriend, does she?
I don't know who that is, but okay. Sports reference?
I don't get it either.
Matt Teo, the college football player who made up a girlfriend.
Sports reference.
No, I don't know who that is.
No,
I'm not a big
way,
college
I'm the only
guy.
One who caught that. All
yeah,
right.
I'm out of this group. I'm the definite sports guy, but I'm not a college guy.
I'm
Well,
glad
that
you're
just
not
made
in
that just
college,
made
girl.
news because he had this whole thing about this girlfriend that didn't exist. It was an imaginary girlfriend.
Was
Yeah,
she a model in Canada?
probably. I don't know.
Did she take a trip to South Beach ever? The listeners would not get that joke, so I probably
Oh, that's
edit
right. It's
that
not
out.
on the show.
Yeah.
All right. I've got 2 more questions.
Oh, okay.
Andrea's like moving along.
This one is from Kenzie in California.
It's a cool name.
It's a very California name, actually.
Yeah.
Ken-
Balls.
What?
Balls.
Balls.
Fan.
What are they good for? Do we squeeze them or leave them alone?
Oh, I encourage ball play a lot.
Yeah, I like a nice little tickle.
Yeah.
I don't mind tickles. I've got some sensitive boys. So, if your girl goes down and she likes to play with those and she tries like sucking them in her mouth, fuck it. That freaks me out.
Oh, no,
I've got super
I'm
sensitive
totally
nuts.
down.
That is
I'm
totally
I've had
fine.
my mouth all over your balls.
Yeah, but not like, I'm sensitive, so you take it easy down there. Here, show the guys. Come
Okay.
on.
Yeah, and you gotta unzip it a little slower, Adam. Slower.
Thanks for inviting me to the show, guys. It's a warm welcome.
Let's get weird, man.
Practice makes perfect.
No, but always play with the balls, but just be careful, girls, because it doesn't take much to hurt them.
Oh, girls
always
don't
test-
understand.
always
I've
test the
had
waters.
guys that wanted me to like really get in there on them. You know?
Yeah, it's different folks, different strokes, or different strokes, different folks. I speak English
Well, while
as a
he
second
strokes
language.
and I'm licking it.
Well, there's a fucking fetish out there of, have you seen this shit of like girls stepping on guys'
Yeah.
balls with heels?
Yeah, I'm into some sick shit. I've seen that. Yeah.
Holy fucking shit. Somebody sent me a link, and God, I don't ever open links from this guy
Somebody
anymore.
sent you a link.
No, I'm dead serious. It was to, what is the gore, like the nasty sites?
Yeah.
Like gore.com or some shit. I don't know what they are.
This is when he locks the door when I leave to go to the store.
Well,
crazyshit.com.
it's
That's
a
great
video of a girl using like stiletto heels, and
Yeah.
she's stepping on a guy's nuts. And guess what happened after that? She punctured it, and yeah, did not go well. But here's the really weird part about that: the guy still came after
Well,
that.
yeah, you don't waste an erection.
You don't want to get blue balls.
one. Yeah.
Oh, he had black and blue balls.
So
not
his
pretty.
sack was ripped open?
Yeah, she
Right
punctured,
there, I'd be
she
like,
punctured
let's get the vasectomy going now. Let's just get it over with.
You must have
It's already
really
ripped open.
liked pain.
it. Yeah, that was traumatized.
Are you all ready for the last question?
Yeah, shoot.
You are or he was?
I definitely was. I think he probably was too, a little bit. But
Julia from Alabama wants to know, what's one thing you wish girls knew?
Oh my God.
Words hurt.
oh Jesus,
It's a good one. Wow, that's like profound.
That stumped all three of us. Damn.
Think, guys.
It's more of like, where should I start? kind of a thing.
all right.
No,
Pick
I-
one. It doesn't say the most or anything. Just pick one.
I don't know, I'm just trying to think.
Categorically, or I mean,
Autobiographical.
I don't know. There's
You will never mean as much to me as mother.
Jesus. One thing that I wish girls would know. See, I want to make a joke out of it, but I also want to answer it legitimately.
You can do both.
I just did.
It can be done.
Okay, me coming as a single father, I definitely wish girls would realize, or women would realize, my kid is my priority. That's it. I don't understand why that's hard for a lot of women to understand. I've been in the dating pool for a while and no one gets it. I don't understand why he means more to you than I do. Because I made him.
Yeah.
Your son?
Yeah, I made him. I'm legally responsible for his upbringing. Like,
That's the wrong girl right there anyway.
Yeah, well, that's all of them, which explains a
not.
lot, actually. Oh, all the ones I meet. I mean, I'm sorry.
Well, you met me.
Oh, well, yeah, but you're taken.
She's got a single sister.
No, she doesn't. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that.
Zach has been asking to meet the sister for years now. And
Did your sister?
Okay, it wasn't years.
Did your sister date Matt Teo?
She's with Bob.
now we get the joke. I don't know how to drive. I mean, I don't know. I don't.
Adam, that's bad.
Okay, so
Sexist.
honestly, I wish women would understand that guys don't have the same, generally speaking. Some guys are more sensitive than others and some guys are more emotional than others, but as a whole, guys, not as a whole, but as a general,
Like
guys,
holes.
guys are less emotional and less sensitive than women. So women try to impute their emotions on guys and make us, they want us to get the same type of reactions out of certain things. This isn't just you. This is in my life experience. They want us to have the same type of emotional response and reactions that they do. And we don't. As a consensus, men don't respond to emotional stimulus the same way women do. And it's very difficult to get them to understand that doesn't happen. Be it good emotions, be it negative, be it jealousy, be it whatever, guys usually are less emotional. And women don't, for the most part, haven't understood.
By the way, this show is very personal between the two of them. So that's really her asking him and him talking to her.
Yeah.
This is like relationship counseling.
None of these women's names that she meant, like, they were blank pieces of papers. I could see.
It's like, where, Ashley from North Carolina, where was Adam Tuesday night?
Who names their kid Kenzie? I mean, come on.
That's why every time we ask her, who is this from again? She makes up a new name.
Yeah.
That's Juliet from Vegas? What?
I thought it was Heather from Toronto. Yeah, same thing.
That's what I said.
They're friends.
So she really wants to know, where were you Tuesday night at
Now,
around
these-
8:05?
Adam, where were you?
These emails really do come in to show@livingpodcariously.com.
Yes, please send them regularly. Keep them coming.
Send them in. We've actually received a couple emails from guys that said we need to reverse one question a week back on to Andrea as a reverse guyry question, because typically it's girls and we have way more girl listeners than we thought. That's why we created this segment. In fact, Jimmy, one of our mutual friends, is the one who named the segment for us. But we've been able to each week come back and throw one back at Andrea and turn the tides on some of the questions and say, okay, it's a reverse guyry question. So, or just come up with our own type of question.
Right.
Do you guys have one you want to throw back to Andrea?
Yeah.
Actually,
No.
Jay's got a question he wants to ask too, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
your
I'm.
question.
Didn't you have a guyry question?
You had a girl ask you a question.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, was that for the
Yeah.
guys or
for
for
the
you?
guyry.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Yeah, I can ask you guys this one. All right. Sweet. I have to find it. So while we do that,
Did you have a question, Tach, you wanted to throw back to her as a reverse guyry?
Just the last one, which I didn't answer yet.
What do I wish all
listen
guys
to it.
knew about girls?
yeah,
Answer.
that's a good one.
Answer it first, Tach, then throw it back to her.
I don't even
Lost
I don't know.
in translation now.
I could say one thing and then like 10 minutes later I'll be like, no, it's this. I want that. I wish they knew this, you know. And I don't know. I'm not saying
Be
girls
more
have
sensitive
problems,
and
but
suck up sometimes.
suck up.
Suck up. Just whatever. If we want you to be emotional, just do it every once in a
Oh,
while.
this would to guys?
Yeah.
Or to me.
Just give in a little.
There's one touching on what Adam was saying. that I
Cry
wish-
during a movie. You know, just let it go every once in a while. Just show her a sensitive side, even if you have to fake it a little.
Yeah, one that I wish women knew that, touching on what Adam was bringing up, I really wish women would understand that when I say I'm not thinking about anything,
Yes.
I mean it.
I said that so many times.
I literally am thinking of
That's a
nothing.
good one, yeah.
What's going on in your head?
Yeah, what are you thinking?
Literally nothing.
Or what's wrong? I'm like, nothing. We're
Done.
watching the movie or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm not hiding anything from you. I'm not lying to you.
There's no
it is-
hidden
That's a lie.
agenda.
That's a lie.
It is not.
Lying.
Listen
There's
to
no
her.
cryptic.
Lying. Stop. I know what you're doing.
There's no
You're trying to
cryptic
get around
message.
this. You're trying to get around it. Just tell me what's going on. Just tell me. I just need to know.
Tach, welcome to my
Exactly.
Tuesday night.
When he came home late.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the one that's been coming home late every
But
night.
there was
though.
some good advice that I heard somebody tell a woman about a guy. It said, guys are simple. Period. That's it. There isn't anything else.
Well, be more complicated then.
So the question that I was asked earlier today, was a friend of mine, and she's going through something with her husband at the moment. So it was
It's called divorce.
no.
I'm kidding. I don't know this person.
Every time my husband receives devastating news, I try to be loving and cuddle him and comfort him with affection. And somehow it always leads to sex. Does this happen with any other dude, or is this just my husband, and why?
Well, I don't know. How many dudes does she coddle?
That's funny. But so you have to have something traumatic or something that requires.
Background,
Coddling.
her husband is going through a death in the family.
Yeah, that's
Or just
rough.
if she's comforting you and hugging you and stuff. Does that lead you sex?
It sounds like she's planning on coddling a bunch of dudes. That's what. So it's like, all guys do this? Or
Tach is taking this to gangbang level. That's what he just did.
See, what I
Is
told-
it normal for a guy to want sex after something devastating?
What I told her is like most guys, and especially that I'm kind of on the inside, so I know her husband. A lot of guys don't really deal with a lot of emotions. So when you do have something really emotional, the easiest outlet is through sex. At least
Yeah.
that's, how I've always coped. And,
That makes sense.
so it's just like all this emotion. Hey, there's a hole. Let me stick something in it and, just get all of this out.
Yeah, the endorphin rush that you get out of sex is way better
Yeah.
than anything else you can do medically or whatever. So that's an easy out for an emotional dump for a guy. There's no question about that. So
And-
I can't remember that I've ever had gone through that personally though.
Yeah, I remember when I lost my grandmother. Yeah, I was actually dating someone at the time, and when I'm not, and I realized it's just having that outlet. Because when my grandmother passed, I was dating somebody, and yeah, it was just a fuck fest.
And she's
really was.
like, no offense, but she's like, damn, I wish you would have somebody die in your family all the time because the sex is great. Is that no
I didn't have to lose anybody.
bad
for all
joke?
that. It was
Should I
just
insert?
extra.
I was going to
crickets?
say a joke too, but I thought it might be offensive, so I decided not to.
No, but then when my mother died, I wasn't dating anybody, and I lost about 40 pounds because I was just constantly hitting the gym.
Oh, I thought you were going
to cope.
I thought you were going to a releasing of endorphins angle there and said your right hand was way stronger. After.
Oh yeah, no, I was like that dude from Lady in the Water, which is a great M. Night Shyamalan movie for those of you.
M. Night Shyamalan. He's burnt out, man. That he blew his load in his first couple of movies.
No, dude, he had that one movie come out not too long ago. It wasn't he directed it, but it wasn't his production company that did it. So he actually had somebody overlooking him. Shyamalan is great when he has somebody bringing in the reins,
reining him in a little bit.
Yeah, when you have him with total creative control, yeah, he gets off the rocker. I think it was grandma or something. It was like the kids that went to the grandparents' house.
Oh,
I didn't see that.
Grandma's House, I think, was the name of the movie.
Something like that.
Yeah, that was a Shyamalan directed movie.
Wasn't the one movie in the forest or something like that where they had this big red dragon like thing that would come and scare people? The Village.
Oh, the Village.
Oh, the Village.
Yeah,
Wasn't that his?
Yeah, it was his movie. That was one of his first
fucking
ones.
horrible. Oh my god!
I actually liked Village.
Did you?
Yeah,
I like Signs too.
That was kind of like
Signs. Signs was great.
Yeah, the Village was
Fantastic.
kind of the beginning of the
All right.
of the downfall of the Shamhammer.
Gotcha.
I thought it was more of a Lady in the Water though.
That was what cemented it. That was like, okay, well, the Village was okay. Let's see how Lady of the... Oh, crap. That one's shit, too. Okay.
All right. So to reverse the question from Tach back onto you.
And we already did.
What was your answer?
She just went through it all.
I must have
wish
missed it.
you
What was
were
the answer?
more sensitive.
But that's not that we know, though. The question is, what would you wish guys would know?
I answered all of that.
Oh, all right.
Listen to it.
I'll listen in post, I guess.
I want you to add on there. I wish you would listen more.
And yes,
Exactly.
God damn it.
guys would listen.
I knew that was
I
coming.
wish men knew that when we spoke, we
They should
mean
listen.
things.
Listen. You want lasagna made for you? Just listen.
Yeah, part of the benefit of coming over here is usually Andrea's got something cooking in the kitchen for us. Usually.
I'm not in shows.
Yeah, with her performing.
Or pizza. He orders pizza a lot too. So
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to work out great for me, guys. I think it's a happy little arrangement we've made.
So, do we want to wrap up the show?
Yeah.
Get out of here? All right, let's let Jay. So, do you have any gigs? So, this show will probably go out tomorrow. I'm going to edit this one quick to get it out there. So, do you have
So
any
we can
gigs or
listen
anything
to
you
my
want to?
answer.
You want to plug? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah, catch me this Friday, September 30th, if I'm not mistaken. Quick math. Yeah, September 30th at Magic City Casino. I will be doing the Miami Children's Hospital Radio Lollipop Night at the Improv.
Sweet.
Also, weekend of October 21st, I will be at Gregory's Comedy Club in Cocoa Beach.
Nice.
cool.
Let's see if we can try to go out there.
Did you say Friday the 30th?
Is it Friday the 30th or Friday the 1st?
Friday the 30th.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, and you catch me for the next 2 weekends at the Cocoa Village Playhouse for Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which is called the box office at 636-5050, and get your tickets today.
There you
Thursday.
There is a Thursday show this
And
week.
you can catch me at my house or at work.
At 555
Main Street. Yeah.
Hanging out at all of the nicest restroom stalls.
And I can't wait to see you guys at our Halloween party.
Yeah, we're going to take some pictures of that and put it up on the show for sure. Let's see. I don't have any closing thanks or shout outs to do for anybody. So, we want you guys involved in the show. Shoot us an email to show@livingpodcariously.com or, hit us up on Facebook. Go to the Facebook page. We're going to add some more content to that. Hey, sorry about not getting a show out in the last 4 or 5 weeks. We've had a lot of stuff going on between, well, Tach and I. It's no secret, work out at the Space Center, and, well, Rocket kind of blew up, so it kind of took over some priority of scheduling for us, and Tach got a promotion and a new job and a girlfriend and a life. And look, there's a lot of stuff that's happened in the last month, and we're revamping the show a little bit. We're going to update the website. We're going to add some more content. We might even start a little web show that we're going to do. Andrea and I have talked about this a little bit, pitched it to Tach tonight. So, stay tuned for that. We're back on our weekly schedule, so you guys will get your episodes every week if you're interested in them. Tell a friend, share out the page, and we greatly appreciate that. I guess that's it. So let's get out of here.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. My name's Adam.
And I'm Tach.
And I'm Andrea Joy.
I'm Jay.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
You're listening to Living Podcariously, bringing you real men's perspectives, unfiltered, unapologetic, and uncensored. Recorded live in the Living Podcariously studio in world-famous Cocoa Beach, Florida.
Welcome to Living Podcariously. It's been a while since we recorded, but we are back in studio.
We are back.
My name's Adam. I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Tach. I'm the other host.
And sitting across from Tach.
I'm Andrea Joy.
And we have one more special guest in studio this week. Maybe more than a special guest. We'll see how it goes for him, if he likes it or not. Is Mr. Jay Alvarez.
Oh, hey, Adam. Thanks for maybe more than a special guest. I feel like there's, I feel like there may be potential here.
You're more than a special guest.
Should I be getting jealous?
You should be. No. You absolutely should be.
How's your lasagna? How's your lasagna?
Look,
it has a silent G in it that I don't know where it came from. Otherwise, it's phenomenal.
Jay spent time in prison. When you ask him, how's his lasagna, he bends over and grabs.
You know, when I was attempting my comedy
debut,
like some of the listeners may not know, but Jay Alvarez was like my Yoda. So,
speaking of which, Padawan, what happened to you? Never saw you again.
I got a new job and I work Saturday nights
and a
now.
girlfriend.
Oh,
it really sucks.
The girlfriend is probably the more catch there.
Yeah.
Well, what do you do Tuesday nights?
I work. I only have Sundays and Mondays off. So if you got some place I can go on one of those nights,
we'll chat.
All right, we'll chat. Cool.
I went to Ray Burrito's comedy thing that he hosted. I don't know, comedy night, whatever they're called, up here at Bug Nutty Brewery here in Merritt Island. And I sent you a message on Facebook to see if you were interested in going that night because I was going to be heading up there. It was a small crowd because it was a fucking monsoon outside. It was a horrible storm. However, he had it was like maybe 20, 25 people inside the brewery. So it was a decent crowd. Everyone was drinking because you go to a brewery to drink or to go support comics, and everybody who supports comics drinks. So it was all right. It was a pretty good. He got a pretty good response out of the crowd.
Good.
Andrea came up there after her rehearsal, and then we went out with Ray and a couple of his buddies, and probably sat at Applebee's for another 3 hours just drinking with those guys.
I don't know, it was that long.
Trading war stories. It was interesting. So Ray, I don't know if you've ever heard his bit, but he's got a bit where he talks about getting mugged. He literally got him and
hair stuff that I was talking about for her getting.
Gotcha. Very cool.
So Jay, you guys both already know this. Andrea, I don't think you've ever seen Jay, but Jay is a stand-up comedian or comic, or I don't know what the official term is. I know you do stand-up all the time.
African American.
You're going to say that like 6 times during the show. Let's do.
A purveyor of punchlines.
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
Are you still doing that? You still doing your stand-up?
Yeah, actually. Yeah, it's going pretty well. I just hosted over at Gregory's Comedy Club in Cocoa Beach.
Sweet.
And I'm actually doing a charity event this weekend for Miami Children's Hospital.
Really?
Down in Miami. Yeah, there's a great charity that they do called Radio Lollipop. And what it is they get a bunch of kids that are, checked into the hospital for a pretty good amount of time. And they have a radio station that they run in the hospital, and they let the kids manage the radio station.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it's run totally off of donations. Miami Children's doesn't give any money into it just because they do so well off of the donations. And we're doing a charity event this Friday at Magic City Casino in Miami, Florida.
Cool. So if you're in the area, stop by and check it out.
Is that show driven for kids? Comic?
No.
Or it's an adult?
No, that is an adult show.
Okay.
It's in a casino. I don't think kids will be there.
Oh, that's a good point. Didn't put 2 and 2 together there. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's Miami, though. You wouldn't put it past anyone.
That is true.
His ankles. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Well, I guess it depends on whose lasagna you like better.
That's true.
I'm a fan of the Lazag.
You didn't get the memo, Tach, though.
What?
We're all to wear red shirts tonight. You didn't get the memo.
Oh, shit.
We're showing our
He's got red
support.
shoes.
He's got red shoes.
Yeah, does that count?
We're showing our support for Gay Pride at Disney. So that's their red shirt days at Disney. So
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding now. No, it's just irony. That's all. Ironic. We all wore red. All right. So I want to get a couple quick shout outs out of the way to thank a couple people out there in the podcast land. Mr. John Sweeny with Podcast Radio Network. Tach, I know you know John.
Yep.
I don't think you know the magnitude, or you might know it, the magnitude of listens that he brings to our show with his little podcast radio network thing that he does. I mean, usually podcasters don't say their numbers, but I don't give a shit. I don't want to hide that kind of stuff. He brings us between 7,500 and 8,500 listens per month on each one of our 2 podcast shows that we've got.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
So I can't say thanks enough to that guy for syndicating us. So,
yeah, definitely.
John, thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. I also want to say thank you to everyone who clicked on and liked and shared, and a couple of people who specifically gave money to the GoFundMe that we talked about a few weeks back. That's for Marley, the little girl that had, what was her, it was retardation of the stomach is what she ended up having. You're looking around like
that sounds bad.
We don't like to use that word. We like to say challenged.
They prefer African American.
Jesus Christ. These are things. Hang on, we're that's going the wrong direction. But no, anyway, so we helped raise her a little bit of money. Granted, it wasn't as much as I would have liked to have, but even a dollar helps, which is what was important there. And we ended up getting her quite a few of those dollars. So that's a good thing. One thing that Andrea offered for her stepfather was to have her come up to the salon where Andrea works and get her hair did. So
nice.
She has a lot of hair. She has Rapunzel hair too.
Oh, that's awesome.
And with all she's been going through, she hasn't had time to go to a salon and get it cut in over a year. So she's got those like beautiful curls and everything. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
I did it straight for her. She hadn't had it straightened in over a year, so I straightened it out, and then we spray painted the bottom some pink with some hair color.
You spray paint?
It's salon
spray paint.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's the salon
it lasts
stuff.
about a week.
What kind of salon is this? Huh?
It's a great salon. You can do anything you want, and you always
it's right there on
happy.
the corner.
You always leave happy. They've got a spa in the back. You get a massage.
Oh, that kind of happy.
You always leave happy. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Everyone leaves with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
But we're going to put the pictures up of her getting her hair done up there at Bryn Allen. Just go to the Facebook page and check that out. That's
go ahead.
Facebook.com/Living Podcariously. What?
I do joke, but I mean, you did my daughter's hair, and she loved it, so I joke. But
Same spray.